I was the artist in residence from January to May. Just loved everything about the campus.
Yeah.
And the people and the archives, and I loved meeting the cadets. And I really love walking around when everybody's in uniform. I just love that. You know, I mean, I'm not in uniform, but everyone else is in uniform. So I really enjoyed it. And seriously, I started to, in May, I got a little bit depressed, and I thought, oh, it's all over. Oh, that's really sad. Well, I've been invited to come back, and the principal has said, anytime, Nancy, let me know you want to be anywhere and do a painting or a drawing. Just let me know, and that's, no problem, just wherever. So I thought, well, that was really nice. But I started thinking, well, the commandant and the principal and the vice principal had said to me, wouldn't it be great if you did an illustration, like a collage on the 4 pillars? Okay. So that's when I thought, ooh, I'm going to make a proposal. And so that's what I did. In June, I made a proposal for me to make an illustration. But I didn't want to just believe that I know all about RMC. Mm-hmm. I know very little about RMC. RMC is so complex. I don't know if anybody can know all about RMC. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, these days, and all the extensions now that they're serving in the Defense Academy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's bigger than just the uniformed cadets now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the postgraduate.
Yes.
Stuff that's going on.
And then to know all about the history too. So I was thinking, well, the only way I could really do a meaningful artwork is if I were to interview a number of people and try to understand, what things were like for cadets in the 50s and the 60s and what it's like for a cadet right now and sort of what their viewpoint is as far as what they're hoping to get out of their education, or to talk to someone like you who graduated and was then in the military and all of the things that you did with your career. And I thought, well, that's the only way I'm going to be able to do this artwork, and I can ask someone their visual opinion on something, and I can get all of these stories and put them all together. And then when I was talking to someone about this today, when I go to make the artwork, I've been shaped by all of these different interviews. So when I make a certain choice for an artwork, I will be making it based on what everyone's told me, not based on just what I think.
I understand.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's not an artwork that's it's only the positive aspects of RMC, because that's what it's about. It's about the potential going into RMC. What is the potential of when you graduate? What are some of the potentials that you can accomplish? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's very interesting.
Well,
and trying not to be overwhelmed about it. You know what I mean? So you were in the infantry.
I was in the Signal Corps.
Oh, Signal Corps. I'm sorry.
But attached to we provided signal officers to the infantry battalion. So you really were incorporated in an infantry battalion. Yeah.
Okay. And so what would you do as that? What does the Signal Corps do?
Well, we in those days we had a lot of telephones, so we laid a lot of telephone line.
Oh, that was you. Okay. So so communications.
And we had radios, but they weren't as nearly as sophisticated as they are now.
And like walkie-talkie sort of thing.
Well, they were, because they had to be they had to be man-portable.
Right.
In the infantry, yeah.
Right.
And so...
that could be a really dangerous job.
Yeah, I served with all 3 battalions of the RCR at one time or another.
Wow.
And so I'm almost I'm almost a regimental.
So
they consider me a royal.
So that's very interesting. But where else did you go as a signal corps? So you were in Korea.
Yep.
So where else did you go after that?
Well, when I came back from Korea, in those days RMC wasn't granting degrees.
Okay.
They were a federal institution, and only the provinces could grant degrees.
Oh.
So.
Okay. And you had gone through 4 years and done electrical engineering.
Yeah. But
okay.
in order to get a degree, they sent us back to a civilian university for a year to get a degree.
Okay.
So they said, "Where would you like to go?"
And you said Queens.
No, I said UBC.
Oh, no wonder. Nicer weather.
Well, it was a good school too.
Yes, yeah. I imagine.
And, but then I graduated from there. Budding engineer, going to conquer the military engineering side of things.
Right.
What was my first job? Well, they found out that in my young days I'd...
Bulldozer?
Pardon?
A bulldozer?
No, a motorcycle.
Oh, you're kidding.
No.
So what were you doing?
Well, they had a motorcycle. We used to have what were called dispatch riders.
Oh, yes? Okay.
Yeah, in the old days they rode on horses and carried documents
Messages
from
and
various places.
Right.
In World War II, they were in motorcycles by the most part.
Okay.
So part of the Signal Corps was dispatch riders.
That makes sense.
Now,
Communications, yeah.
in part of the recruiting campaign, they had a motorcycle display team, which did precision riding and so on. And then we did all kinds of tricks. And so...
Just like the snowbirds right now. Only
thing.
on motorcycles.
Same thing, and the same with the Skyhawks.
Parachutes.
The parachute,
Yes.
yeah. So this was on the motorcycle. So I was handed 2 tractor trailers, 45 motorcycles, 40 motorcycle riders, a handful of checks to cash, and off we went.
And you just went across country doing displays and presentations.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I
Is that ever interesting?
I did all the ramp jumps. Through brick walls.
When was this? Like, this is like
walls and hoops of
1956 or
fire,
something?
Yeah, and then we had...
Wow.
Everyone had to learn to ride the bike backwards. So you sat in the handlebars and did figure eights and so on.
Oh. Wow.
And all kinds of other stuff. And then the precision riding, of course, was really a display part.
And ramps. Ramp jumping.
Yeah. And we had one guy who stood on a 10-foot ladder built onto the motorcycle, and he rode it from up in the top up there. So, budding engineer, eh?
Wow.
Was my first job.
Oh my golly.
And they were a rough bunch.
Oh, they were they? Were they all, but what?
If they couldn't do anything else, they posted them.
Oh, okay.
And they're all individuals.
So these were people who were all in the Signal Corps, but they weren't all budding engineers.
No.
No. But were you in charge of them?
Yes.
Okay, well that's sort of good. Instead of having one of them in charge of you.
Yeah, we were at the CNE in Toronto, and Rogers. Do you remember Roy Rogers?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do.
And
I
Dale
know.
Evans?
Yes, and
Yeah.
Dale Evans. Yeah.
And Trigger.
Yeah, the
Well,
horse.
There were
Yeah.
5 triggers. They're all painted to look the same, and each one did one trick. But Roy, he wanted to ride my motorcycle, so I said, well, I'd like to ride Trigger. So, and Dale Evans was standing there saying, Roy, don't get on that motorcycle, don't get on.
Okay.
So he's
That's
running
hilarious.
around a dirt track at the CNE in Toronto.
Had he ridden one before, do you think?
No.
Oh my.
And his agent is saying, pulling him back.
Yeah.
Like,
Get it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And so did you ride trigger?
oh yeah. Rode 3 of them
3 triggers.
out of the 5.
That's funny. So they had more than one trigger.
So
who
we did
could do
them-
a trick each. Each of them knew a trick or two.
Each of them did one trick, yeah.
That makes sense.
And we went from there to the Calgary Stampede and then out to the Pacific National Exhibition in Vancouver.
And were you
Coast.
married at this point?
Yeah.
So did your wife, what did she think about you being on a motorcycle, jumping through
We just bought a house
A
here
hoop.
in Kingston in LaSalle Park. And it was mud. There were no paved roads out there.
oh my gosh.
We had a new child and I'm off.
With motorcycles.
Yeah.
Wow. And that is probably not what she expected.
No.
When you graduated. It was like she was not expecting Evel Knievel.
No, I think
Yeah.
if you wanted to find the real resiliency of the military, it's in the wives
The
and
wives.
families.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
They put up,
With a lot.
and there was no support in those days. There was no.
Yeah.
Nowadays, if you're moving, you're given a leave to go and find new accommodation or something,
Yeah.
and compensation if you have to sell your house or whatever. None of that was there in those days.
No,
You were
eh?
strictly on your own. Yeah.
Wow. And that puts a lot of pressure.
A lot of-
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, it puts a lot of pressure.
Those wives,
Yeah.
you can't extol them enough,
Yeah.
really.
Is this supposed to mean something to the people who graduated 10 years ago or 30 years ago? Or is this supposed to be, what do we want these 4 pillars to mean to somebody who has never been here?
Right. What
Right?
can it signify to the newcomer?
Right? So is it about the future? Is it about, a more diverse college, more gender diversity? Is it about, maybe more Aboriginal diversity, more ethnic diversity, more innovation, more learning innovation, and looking at the future? Or is it looking at the past? To me, that's a big question. And, if you can integrate both perspectives,
That would be
then
great.
that would be great.
Yeah.
But I understand that you can't make it like, all things to all people, right? What image, do we want? Do we want to look at the past when there was 18 men here, like the whatever the 18,
the old 18.
yeah,
Yeah.
or do we want to show what we want the college to look in 5-10 years from now, how diverse we want it to be,
Okay.
and how much modern it should be.
Oh, your diploma.
Yeah, my diploma.
Okay, your
So
diploma.
The day
Okay.
before it's a diploma.
Yes.
So that's on the parade. It's the commission.
Yeah.
So we receive a
So
big thing.
do you really know, or is it a big surprise?
the what?
The commission. So the commission is where you're going next, right? So
No, the commission. Okay.
Isn't that just mean
No.
what's happening to you next?
No, the
Okay.
commission is a paper signed by the Queen saying
Okay.
you're an officer now. It's only this. So it's saying that you're an officer.
I thought the commission was like that, saying you're an officer now, and then it said, and this is your rank, and you're going here next.
No.
Oh.
It's only like saying you're an officer.
Oh,
So
that's nice.
it's yeah. My father have his commission like what is it, a frame
Oh, yeah.
in his desk, so
nice.
we'll probably have mine in
Of course.
so yeah. But with what you were talking about, like where we are going, is
Yeah.
the posting.
Oh, it's a posting.
Yeah,
Okay.
so the posting, we're gonna have them, I hope, a lot before the grad parade. Because
Really? That happens before too?
yeah, a lot before,
Oh,
like as soon as
really?
possible. Because soon as you know, like you can look for an apartment, for everything. So like, where are you going?
And so the posting is the posting usually like middle of May? You see, I feel like I know you well enough that I can ask you these stupid questions.
No, that's
right?
totally fine.
I can ask the stupid questions. So middle of May,
Yeah.
parade.
Yeah.
You've already got your marks.
Yep.
You've done so well. You've done so well. You go to the parade. You get your commission. You're an officer now.
Yeah.
You throw your hat in the air.
Yep.
And you get to walk through the arch.
Yep.
By the way, I accidentally walked through it.
But it's alright. And I think for me, the military, it's not a job. It's a way of life.
It's a way of life.
If you're not ready to give all to this, then you don't go. So it's a bit extreme, but for me it's
No, that's what it should be. Like, really.
it's like it's
Like,
a
that's what we'll-
vocation.
exactly,
It's a passion. If you're not passionate about what you're doing,
Yeah.
it's even like more in the military than in any other job.
Yeah.
If you're not passionate about what you're doing, you will hate your life.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
for now,
It will make your career enjoyable. And then maybe the bilingualism should be the Mackenzie building because it's recognizable and because I think it's in the Curry building now that the language department is in. But I think the Mackenzie building is the building that has the most...
It's iconic. The Curry building exterior is different. It's unique, but it doesn't have the same impact or sense of place.
Exactly. And I thought the Mackenzie building has more to do with Canada as like the actual building is very specific as like this is a Canadian icon, and it kind of reminds me of the Parliament buildings with the center. Yeah. Is that what it's
When the original Parliament buildings were built, it's the same time frame.
It is. Oh, okay.
You know,
okay.
Very much a standard government building.
Yes. So that's how it reads for me, just as a non-knowledgeable, what's going on at RMC.
Yeah.
So that one I think will be for the bilingual, because the bilingual is really about culture, the culture of the French culture and an English culture and communicating. It's not just French language. It has to do with the whole of the country. There's a piece of paper I have in here, because I've been writing things down. I came across a piece of paper, and it's a lined piece of paper. And it's completely blank, except at the top it says, "Figure out collage."
No, I
Okay, fine.
understand.
Figure out the collage.